Diamond State Representatives. We are going to elect Kim Sexton-Luter, Sabrina Berry, Joanna Chesley to accompany her to Raleigh. We're going to return Keisha Sandage to the school board, along with 3 new Democrats, to join Pam and Sam, who are already there. The Pam and Sam team, they're already there. They're waiting for other Democrats to join them. Let's see. We're going to get our first vice president, Ingrid, on the county commission, along with Yolanda. And last but not least, I almost forgot, we're going to re-elect Juanita Boger Allen to her seat. And last but not least, we're going to send a Marine Corps veteran, sorry, Andy, a Marine Corps veteran to Congress, Justin Duke. Couple things. Who?
Jeff Jackson.
Well, I said Council of State. We'll be on the Council of State along with 10 other Democrats who will be supporting the governor, Josh Hunt.
Y'all saw Jeff Jackson's email list that I have. He was written up in the New York Times. Oh wow! He was at a meeting somewhere, campaign events. I just got read about it. And New York Times reporter was there, and they asked if he could come in. She could come in and listen to him. He got the letter, and then he got a call next week, so he's in New York Times.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. More publicity, the better. Okay, so first up, we're going to talk about services available to veterans right in Cabarrus County over the Cabarrus County Veterans Service Agency. And we fortunately have Ms. Lori Hinson with us, who is a veteran service officer at that office. She has a guest or a coworker she's brought along. I'll let her introduce her. But Ms. Hinson's been with the Veteran Service Office here in Cabarrus County for 16 years. And before that, she worked at the Bill Hefner VA in Salisbury. And speaking of Bill Hefner, you all know he was a Democrat, right?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. You know how many terms he served? This is your trivia question.
It's not fair. All right, tell you.
Until he retired.
I worked at VA too. I'm Salisbury.
Yes. Great.
So far,
He
so
sang a
good.
song. He was a nurse.
Sorry, you got here
I
late.
don't know about that.
Yes.
I wasn't here in North Carolina.
It was a lot.
I'm using this camera.
So who knows how many terms? Two-year terms he served in Congress before he retired in 1998. Not bad. More?
12.
12. 12 consecutive terms in Congress. Talk about a popular Democrat. Okay, so Ms. Henson is also VA trained and certified. And she was referred here, or actually recruited to come here by Michael Henson, who is always at our meetings, and tonight, unfortunately, the one time he couldn't make it was the Veterans Meeting. But we appreciate Michael's work in getting Ms. Henson here. So Ms. Henson, would you all come forward? Let's welcome her.
Yeah, very much. I appreciate it. We will be brief, I promise. We are Veteran Services at Cabarrus County. I want to welcome my coworker, Jennifer Morgan. She represents about 12 years as a service officer, so got a little bit of experience behind us, I'll be honest, and love our jobs, we love what we do, and we're passionate about what we do. And that's one of the musts that you have to be a veteran service officer, is to fight for that veteran. So just wanted to say that we are up across from the Board of Elections on Church Street. We help veterans to get their claims. We help veterans who have been out of the military a couple of days up to 50, 55 years. We help veterans, okay? Doesn't matter how long you serve, just the fact that you served, you have your DD-214, come see us, and we will help you to get any benefits that you are due. I'm not going to take the time tonight to talk about specifics or anything like that. Jennifer's got some cards. It's got all of our information on it. She's going to pass those out. Please give them to family or anybody that may need to talk with us. We'll be glad to make appointments and talk with each and every one that needs help with to get their benefits or to any help that they need with the VA or anything like that. Okay?
Wireless caller.
Compensation claims, we do pension claims, we do license tax, we do education, we do anything and everything in the midst that a veteran needs, we do. We do discharge upgrades, we do all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's not just VA, but there is some military involved as well. I will be glad to answer any questions that you folks have. I thank you so much for inviting us and having us here. We love our Cabarrus County veterans. I'll be honest with you. I'm very passionate about what I do. What we do in veteran services is change lives. Okay, we change lives, and you can't take that for granted. You can't take it lightly. There are some folks, some veterans out there that $171 a month would change their life. And so we take that very, very seriously, very, very passionately at Cabarrus County Veteran Services, okay? Anybody have any specific questions you'd like to ask? Yes, sir.
Tony still there?
Tony Miller is our director. He unfortunately lives in Rockville, South Carolina, and so he is not here tonight with us because today was one of his remote days, and so he said, "Lord, can I beg off coming up there? If you mind, please don't mind." And I told him, "No, that's fine. As long as Jennifer would come with me, we were good." So, but Tony Miller is our director, and we do have one other gentleman. His name is Wayne Preminger. A lot of you may know Wayne out playing and zoning, but he has made a career change, and he is in veteran services now. And so there are 4 of us in the office. Wayne just received his certification on Friday. We are all 4 service officers and there to help with the veterans of Cabarrus County anyway. Okay? Anything else? Yes, sir.
I just want to ask a question because I think a lot of people may get confused. I have to, full disclosure, tell you that I work with the VA, at the VA, federal. And there's a state, this is state or county or whatever.
Yeah, we are county veteran service officers. We are not federal employees. We are state employees. We are hired by Cabarrus County to take care of Cabarrus County veterans. Okay?
And some people might ask the question because they used to get confused when they came onto the campus of Hefner in Salisbury. There was a state facility, building number 10.
Yes.
And then there was the federal, and they would always wonder, where is the state? And why are there 2? Could you explain that, please?
Well, okay, so the state building has now been turned into a state nursing home, okay? And so there is a state veterans nursing home on the backside of the VA, okay? And they do take veterans. You have to have D214. You have to meet the criteria, but they do take veterans and will, it's a nursing facility, skilled nursing, yes. And so I do not think they have a, sorry, I lost words.
Domiciliary?
No, sir, I do not think that they have a memory care unit, thank you. But they do skilled nursing and everything else.
That's over in building 47. Geriatrics.
Geriatrics is in 42, yeah, building 42 there at the hospital. That's the, yeah, they have an in-hospital nursing facility as well inside. It's not related to the state nursing home at the back, but it's VA has their own skilled nursing facility in building 42. It is a geriatrics unit, that is correct. Yes, sir.
That's Cabarrus County from.
Yes, sir.
Do you know roughly how many veterans are living in Cabarrus County?
So last count that I knew, sir, it was almost 14,000, not quite 14,000. It's 13,700, something like that, in Cabarrus County. There you go. 13,000.
Now I know why you bring her along.
There you go. There you go. She's the brains of the group. Yes, sir.
Well, that's great. And I've got your card now, so I can see that you provide all kinds of benefits. So do you sometimes link them with VA benefits that they don't know they have?
Yes, sir. Lots of times.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you're very knowledgeable about VA, even though you're not federal employees, you're very knowledgeable.
Yes.
Yeah.
The VA trains us. We are trained by the VA. Yes. Yes. So it is, when a veteran comes in and says, I'd just like to know if I qualify for anything. They served in Vietnam. They were boots on the ground in Vietnam, and they have a heart condition. We file that claim for them, and they come back at 60% service connected for their heart condition, and 60% is roughly 14, $1,463 a month, you cannot tell me that $1,463 does not change lives.
Oh,
It changes lives, okay? That is life changing.
You
So
said something earlier about $171.
$171.23 is 10%. And that's the least you can get. There is such a thing as 0%. But that just means that gets you foot in the door and that says, yeah, we're gonna service connect it. We did happen to you in the military, but at 10% you start drawing money, and that's where that 171.23 comes in and changes lives. Okay?
Any other questions?
Oh,
Okay, so Lewis was going out as I was coming in. I knew Lewis, but I did not have, like, I didn't actually work with Lewis, that kind of thing. He was in his office, cleaning out his office as I was coming in the door. So,
I was just gonna make a general statement. You probably agree with this. If you have a veteran, you know, or don't know, all veterans do not have an eligibility card. If the eligible for it, it doesn't go to take care of anyone, regardless of the circumstances, for the most part, as long as they've served honorably. And I would recommend that if you know someone, and if you can't really tell, if they don't have their DD 214, please encourage them. This good folks, or they can go to what we call eligibility in the emergency room in the VA hospital. They have persons down there that actually update, actually make your IDs and give you a card if you beat all the paperwork, et cetera, et cetera.
that is correct.
You say I do need military?
It's just a regular ID that they can say this
It's
is
a healthcare.
like voting.
Yes, ma'am.
What about if you served in the reserves? My son was in the Naval Reserves for over 6 years. He got a letter, an honorable discharge letter, but when he went to get his DD, what was it?
214.
They said, he was in Charlotte. They worked out of the Marine place on years ago. He's 38 now, 39. They sent him up to the Bronx in New York to train the underwater unit. He did really well in it, but when he applied for the, he had his letter, he copied it, sent it off. I think it was in Tennessee. They said they don't have his medical records from Charlotte. They were lost.
And that
And
does
the
happen.
Bronx, but he did have but he was there over 6 years. And he kind of has tinnitus now when he was doing,
Andy,
you know,
send them over,
shooting.
let him talk to them.
Huh?
Let your son talk to them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You just
have,
need
he
to
lives
call
in
him.
California now.
We'll have him call.
I'm gonna have him do that,
And we
because
can hook him up possibly with the service office out there or something, but he just needs to, I mean, there's a form that you can fill out to tell them where you've been and what you've done.
yeah,
And they can't find records and things like that. And they have ways now to do things better than what they used to have,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't just say no and shut the door. I would certainly keep trying,
yeah.
okay?
And one more question.
I want to make a real quick statement to her to clarify, just like a second. First of all, if you've served active duty for 180 days,
6 months.
right, that's, even if you're reserved, 180 days active duty is what's required. That's the requirement for reservists to be able to get those kind of benefits, commissary, et cetera. If those nowadays, since 1973, when a lot of the records were caught up in the fire in St. Louis, which was the main depository of records, they started and changed. The VA gets all of your medical records today on their record. It doesn't say they can't get lost, but try if you can.
I would like to say too, we have a small food pantry as well. We accept donations. We have approximately between 30 and 40 veterans that come. They come, take 2 weeks to get food, and then we get a gift card every month.
That's at the VA service office here.
Yes, right there right there across from the Board of Elections. Yes, ma'am.
Any veteran that needs food, and we will not turn anybody away. Please give us a call. If we can help anyone, we'll be glad to. Thank you for inviting us. We appreciate it so much, and we're gonna sneak on out.
Stay
Okay?
on out of here.
Thank you so much.
We don't have a card, but our number is
This
on
efforts in inviting Gloria to the department.
it.
We're also pleased to have Colonel Clark.
And that's forward.
We thank Colonel Clark for his work.
Thank you.
And how many sons does Colonel Clark? We've had you.
Well, when I was getting regularly, it was presentation.
Yes, great presentation.
Hello.
About five. Anyway, whatever, that's not important.
Thank you.
Colonel Clark was born in Bluefield, West Virginia, and graduated from Bluefield State College with a degree in music education. He then graduated from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Daytona Beach, Florida, with an MS in aeronautical science. He's done so much. He was a high school music director for 5 years. He was in the United States Air Force as an officer and pilot for over 20 years. He was awarded a variety of medals. I won't go into all that, but one of the most interesting things I found about his resume was he got an aviation award in 1980. He was on a nonstop flight around the world to survey Soviet activity in the Persian Gulf following the American embassy takeover in 1979. The flight covered 20,000 miles and lasted 43 hours. Did you ever land? Wow. That's a long time. Since retirement, Colonel Clark's been an aviation science instructor in a variety of high schools in and around Cabarrus County. And he's also been buying, selling, repairing electronic musical instruments. I really appreciate you taking the time to even come here tonight. I don't know how you can spare it. You're involved in so much stuff. Let's welcome Colonel Clark one more time.
Some of you are retired, so you understand that the time when you retire, you find out that you don't have as much time that you had when you were working. You also will find out too that everybody else knows you're not working. So they start asking questions and asking for volunteers for this, for that, for the other. So it makes you think about going back to work so you can stop working so hard and not getting paid for it. Let me say this, it's always an honor to bring some glory to our veterans because it is their sacrifice in some cases. Some people are drafted. Now, I understand that we don't have any draftees in our military services today. Everybody in the service, unless they're really, really old guys, are volunteers. And that creates certain issues because some of our best minds are out chasing dollars and not avoiding the draft. And of course, that is a problem. It is hard to find qualified people who can make 3 times as much not being in the service. And it lets us know where patriotism really is. But I didn't come here for that. I came here to do honor to our veterans. We're going to begin with a medley of there you go. Isn't that amazing? We're doing a medley of veterans songs. If you hear your service song or you're related, please stand. You gotta have some Army people in here. Are we related? All right. Well, what has to happen so that you can claim the title of veteran? We're going to talk about that for just a moment, and then we'll move on. First of all, you got to go through a process. The first thing you do before you can be eligible to even be in the service is to be willing to serve and to take an oath. Now, what you see here is a member of the Navy Blue Angels giving the oath to a group of draftees, recruits, good term. Enlistees, some call them, but you've got to do that. Everyone who joins the military has this one thing in common. They must swear or affirm, if you have something against swearing, affirm by repeating a military oath of enlistment or military oath of office. Now, let me say here, anyone in public service has to take an oath. Anyone in public service has to take an oath. The president has to take an oath. Our governors take oaths. Senators, anybody in public service, police officers. The thing we have to remember most about that is they all have one thing in common, and that is a declaration that you will defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. All right, we can stop there. One of our articles in the Constitution or amendment is the third, not chapter, but the third article in the 14th Amendment that says anybody who violates the oath is subject to being booted out of public service and will be ineligible to be in public service from that point on. And that's been the rule of law. And we have found out that that only applies to certain people who have certain influence.
Yes.
All right, so.
Immunity.
is immunity. So we gotta keep that in mind. Before you raise your right hand, make sure you understand that you are swearing to or attesting to. Make sure you understand what that is. The military oath of enlistment or oath of office should not be taken lightly. You will be bound by it for the next 4 to 6 years minimum. Now, once you are out of the service, you're no longer bound by that oath unless it's on your heart. And most of us, once we take that oath and live it, we can't just walk away and say, I'm not obligated to that anymore. We are still obligated. And sometimes the only thing we can do to uphold that is to vote. Right? We have a moral obligation to engage in the affairs of our government, even if it's only through the ballot box. So complaining is not an option. All right, core values. Each branch of the military has core values. That is, values which govern their conduct while in the service. The Air Force has 3 core values: integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. Now, let me say this, because I had planned to say it. If I leave it out, I'll forget something else I should have said. Anytime you own a business, or you are the principal of a school, or you are in any position where you secure employment for someone who is trying to work for you or through you, you should read these so that you know what kind of person you're putting on your staff or what they claim to have done. Now, if I were in that position, I would want to know, did you serve in the military? All right, somebody says, yes, I did. Well, then I know something about them if they were true to this oath. So I would encourage you, if you're in a business, that you look for these values for people who claim to be military service. And we should hire vets whenever we can, because that's one of the ways that we sort of look at them and understand what they did stand for and what they agreed to do while they were in the employment of the military. You want people like that on your job. The Army has a few more: loyalty, duty, respect, self-service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. The Navy and the Marines share honor, courage, and commitment. That's all I'm going to say about that, because we could discuss these all afternoon. And we could name some people who violate that. Big time. Bigly, you might say. All right. Usually. All right, just a few stats. As of September 2023, we had a bunch of people in the service. Now, this number was 64% higher in 1968. Of course, you know, at that time we were engaged in Vietnam. So all the numbers of all branches of the service were up then. And this is scheduled to go down in the coming year. Well, the year after this, 2023. As of September 2023, the U.S. military consisted of 2.86 million people worldwide. The CIA has said that the U.S. has the world's 3rd largest military by size. All right, surpassed only by China and India in 2023. That's a lot of folks. But there is a big gap between China and India and the U.S. It doesn't mean that we are close to them in numbers, because we're not. But we have a quality of service and we have a quantity of service. And if they are compatible with the right kind of technology, size does not matter. So let's move on. According to the Census Bureau, there were around 16.2 million veterans in the United States in 2022. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people who need servicing. So enough of that. Now, I have enough of that. I like that B-52. I put that on there because that was my airplane, my baby. And they tell me it's going to be around till around 2050. So I don't think I will be. That's still a few years down the road. Unless I'm going to be a Jimmy Carter kind of person that just refused to let go. All right. But I'm going to do another tribute, and this one is a tearjerker. So if you're prone to tears, then you should get your napkins now.
Somewhere a trumpet sounds in the night. A soldier is standing there. It's calling him out to the stars and the stripes. It's calling him, God knows where. He says, the dead come near. Freedom, he'll stand and fight. Days of tales and curves. She stays forever and never be far from her. Freedom has from to take your show. And for freedom there. Somewhere a thunderous crash in the night, it goes all through the hills. Though many escape its wrath and its rage, a soldier lies warm and still. And for freedom I say goodbye.
They gave me 20 minutes, and I could do a little bit more than that.
Colonel,
Because I thought, yes.
what was the name of that song? For freedom.
for freedom.
Yes. Now you know.
Makes me tear.
It's always an honor to stand and just to give homage to our veterans. The other thing we really have to understand is, once you're a veteran, you're always a veteran. That does not change with age, although you may not feel the same at the age of 65, 70, 75, 80. That is still a privilege that we should hold dear. We should be honored and say, yes, I gave my time to my country. And, but you don't stop. And there are others out there who are seeking vocally to remove the laws that govern their behavior. We've got to watch out for those people, because another book source says that we are going to have enter into our societies a person who is lawless and who seeks to take away the power of the law to govern their behavior. So we've got to be aware of that. And we really do have to stand up when we see that. And when you're in a crowd that is vocally and energetically supporting somebody, they say this, who can't speak without lying, then we need to confront those people and say, hey, wait a minute, is that true? And in order for you to be able to do that, you've got to stay in the books, you've got to stay on the computer, you've got to stay everywhere. Anytime you hear people saying something that doesn't quite ring a bell, look it up. Look it up so that you can confront your friends and let them know that what you're hearing is not true. And be ready to defend that. And I've got enough to say. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So way to follow that. Colonel, we appreciate your coming to speak with us and look into that. Very touching, very moving. And the extra comments about the man that you're referring to maybe out there threatening us all are certainly appropriate. So appreciate that. Chantel? Okay. The last part of our program this evening was going to be about defending democracy through volunteering. And Chantel Green with the coordinated campaign was to be here to talk with us specifically about phone banking. Because I know some of us have volunteered to canvass, and that's very good, but some of us have mobility issues and can't necessarily get out and walk and go between houses and knock on doors. So I asked Chantel to be here to talk about phone banking. So I'll say a few words, and then Jay, I'll turn the meeting back over to you. Chantel shows up later.
Oh, she's right here.
Oh, okay.
Here she is.
About you. Oh, I want one of those. My ears look really.
Okay, Chantel, glad to see you here. Chantel is with the coordinated campaign. The Harris Walls coordinated campaign, our office is up on Buffalo Avenue, the Block Mill Plaza. Many of you are familiar with that place. Chantel graduated from University of Maryland, where a lot of my school friends went. I didn't go there, but a lot of my friends did. And she got an MBA at Erasmus University in the Netherlands. She had 15 years of experience in Maryland politics, and she had a regular presence at the General Assembly there. Chantel, we're glad to have you in Concord in Cabarrus County, and I'm going to let you talk with the folks about how they can phone bank through the coordinated campaign.
Okay, great.
Come on up.
Perfect.
Glad I walked in at the right time. Thank you for the introduction. So yeah, we are here in Concord. We are here with the Turn Cabarrus Blue, first time since Obama, and we would love your help doing it. And so I know a lot of you are already very involved, and
just want to tell you about the few ways. So first, I brought a little flyer for what we're calling Bashir Madness, because Governor Andy Bashir is coming tomorrow to our Concord office to dial phones with us. So if you guys would like to come, I'll pass these around, or if you want to take one and pass it around. And you can easily sign up, or you can always just come to me and I'll sign you right up. And then in general with the phone banking, so we have 2 ways of doing it, and actually now 3. So you can come down to our office, we'll kind of get you set up. We find people who are maybe a little less comfortable with technology or want help the first time they're doing it, we'll come down in person, and we run phone banks pretty much every 2 hours, though we won't turn you away if you show up on the half hour. I recommend evenings, especially Tuesday and Thursday evenings. We find that we get a lot of people picking up the phones, but again, we run them from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. when our office is open. We're open every day except Mondays. We also have virtual phone banking. So that one is the same thing, but you join statewide Democrats. So we get you signed up there, but then you jump into a Zoom room that has people from all around the state calling into the state. And actually, I'll even say it's a nationwide Zoom room, because I've had people from California, Texas. I think I just convinced a guy who's being deployed to Japan to join our virtual phone bank today too. So, it's really exciting. It's a lot of great energy. Typically, the commitment we ask for is about 2 hours, but again, we won't tell if you stay longer. I might be the other option. No, but yeah, and then I also actually brought a little show and tell, but you guys, if you're interested in doing postcards, I cut a list specific for Cabarrus County, so it's local, neighbor to neighbor. I still have about 600 left, so if y'all get them before Rowan does, because Rowan told me they might pick up a few hundred. It's packs of 50. And the message is short and sweet. We just say, thank you for voting. We encourage you to vote for Harris Walls, and it lists every name on down the ticket. Yeah, so I'm actually kind of proud of them. I designed them myself. And so typical postcard gives the information about all the early voting dates and absentee ballots, et cetera, on the front. And then on the back, just, the standard symbols. But what's great about it is someone can scan this QR code or go to this link, and they'll be taken right to the voter registration information. They put their address in. They can double check that they're registered, know exactly where their polling location is. And as you guys know, these Republicans are out there playing games with us, where they've been purging people from the polls. So we are really trying to encourage people to make sure that they're still ready and registered. And this QR and this link will bring them right there. So
that's the QR is just about registration. It's not about like a list of Democratic candidates that they can vote for.
Not for these, though. We do have, because I have 2 iterations of it. Every iteration is an improvement. But we write on the postcard. So what you all are handwriting about are the Democratic candidates to vote for. But the QR is because, again, a lot of people want to know where their polling location is. These are from a list of people that we're trying to make sure make it to the polls, but that we know generally are going to be voting Democratic. And we're lucky that the state party is going to be mailing out. I think you guys call them blue ballots. We call them sample ballots. So I have to keep it straight in my head. I'm from Maryland, but I think the state party is going to be mailing out blue ballots for everybody and handing them out at the polls as well. And so, yeah, there's one version that's kind of postcard style, so I can flip it to the fridge, and one version that's a little more traditional postcard style. And I even have stamps for those who don't have the means to fund them themselves, that we do ask if you have the means, leave them for somebody else. And yeah, and then the third option, like I mentioned, is we now have statewide text banking. So for those of you who like to text and maybe don't want to make calls, we even have a way for you to kind of reach out to voters like that. It's the same style as the virtual phone banking, where it's run by but coordinated from HQ. So you'd be joining people from all over the state or country, and kind of getting a shared list to text through together. So you might not be texting in locally, but you'll still be making an impact. And of course, we do door knocking, but I get the feeling that might not be everybody's favorite thing to do, but we won't stop you. I see a few people have signed up to door knock with us in the room, so I don't make any assumptions. And Yeah, it's my short and sweet spiel. I brought signs and stickers for y'all and the Bashir Madness info. So, any questions?
I have one. You knew I'd have one.
Yeah.
Just one. Okay, so if somebody wants to phone bank, let's say I want to phone bank, with coordinated campaign, am I gonna need to go to headquarters, or are you gonna, like, could I be home and you send me a list through my computer and I just dial the folks that way? How does it work?
Yes, a great question. So now we use what's called an auto dialer, which will literally call through hundreds to thousands of people, and as soon as you get an answer, you'll be connected. So with this one, we ask people to have two sets of technology, either a tablet or a computer to read the script from, and a phone, and then it's simply a link. We all use the same link. It actually masks your phone number for you, so you don't have to worry about anyone calling you back. And you don't have to worry about dialing it over and over the way they used to do. Though we're happy to also print a list if that's how you prefer it, but the auto dialing system is really nice. The reason we have the hours 12 to 8 for that one is because it calls through so many people at a time. We need a certain critical mass across the state for it to be live. But if you are early birds and you want to do something early, we do still have the traditional list. But yeah, the auto dialer system, it's basically you get a link. If you come in person with us, we'll set you all up. In fact, that's why I was a little bit late. We had to walk in, we wanted to be set up, get our Bluetooth paired, and we help hold your hand through it, especially the first time if you're nervous, and train you. And but if you're an old pro and you're like, just sign me up for virtual, I have my glass of wine, I got my call list, we can send you the link that way too. And then you join like a Zoom call so that you're with a couple of people, just so you kind of know and say hello, and then get to call. So
Great, so you just answered my second question, which is I can drink while I'm
yeah.
right?
You can. I'm not gonna stop anyone from drinking, but I don't recommend getting drunk.
No. Right. So the answer to my question is you can do either or. You can come in and be set up and do it right there at the headquarters with you, the support that obviously would be there. But you can also, once you're trained, do it at home. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. That's maximum flexibility there. And you're doing postcards and you're also doing text banking. Yeah, and so I know that one of the things you want to do is train some folks. I'm not sure we're going to have time tonight for that after the meeting, but if we would, how long would it take to train people right here who would want to learn how to phone bank after the meeting?
I don't think it would take more than 10 minutes, especially if it's just the training portion where I'm like kind of showing you how it works and where the link is. But I brought my cards, so I'm also happy to like distribute them. I don't know if I have enough for everyone in the room, but especially those who are interested, you're welcome to reach out to me directly again.
Thank you, Chantel.
Yeah, thank you all.
Right, let's see what else. Martin's not here. Vince, you need to come up. We need a couple people up here to help us with handing things out to a couple folks. So Andy, I need your help up here, please. Andy, I need you up here. Sure. Because you're gonna help us on this side of the room. Come on up. I hate to do it to you, but I need you on this side of the room to help us. Yeah, that's fine. Come on. Yeah. Come up here for a minute. Oh, 3D glass. Yeah, I'm gonna wear my AD glasses so I can see better. Okay. Everybody can see me up there now? All right, good. There's here up here, Andy. He's not handing things out, but Andy was given the plaque here, and it says CCSD Member of the Year 2024 presented to Andy Engelberg. I knew I was gonna blow that. For her outstanding service and dedication award on the 10th of October 2024. Jay Boyer, that'd be me, you want it only, and by Ingrid Nurse, who's our,
First vice president.
exactly.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
And he's not done handing stuff out.
That's her driver, y'all.
Jay just,
Stand there next to him, turn around,
I thought it was.
turn back around,
Oh, right.
so we don't have to take pictures of this. John, you have something to say to that?
Oh, yeah. Jay held up the glasses, the 3D glasses. That's, for those of you who were not there, reminiscent of our conference just a month ago in Annapolis, Laureate Center. This lady over here not only has done outstanding work for the Cabarrus County Senior Democrats, but for the state Senior Democrats. She was largely responsible for making all of that happen, including a 3D presentation, which required these 3D glasses. And so I want to thank on behalf of the state, but I also want to thank another unsung hero of that convention. We don't have a plaque for this man. He was behind the scenes. He had the camera. He was going around following people. And I said, what can we do? And Jay came up with this wonderful idea. There's a man who likes to drink a lot of coffee. He knows it. So we have a mug that says Outstanding AV Director, Robert Strathern.
Love it.
On behalf of the state.
Move it,
Senior
move
Democrats.
it, close, yeah.
Thank you guys.
I can't see the president's face.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now I'm gonna take pictures individually so I can actually see.
You wanna say
Hold
something
that
about
up. 3D glasses?
Diversity.
Hold them up, hold that up so I can take a picture. And I'll look your website. This one? Yeah. The one where it says who you are, like it's over. Look out of the way, I just want to. Okay, so,
It's great.
diversity.
Yeah.
See,
Right.
the 3D.
Decency,
No,
dignity, well, I have four actually.
democracy.
Democracy and diversity is
So it was entertaining, but it also had a double.
a double. The other meeting was that part of the convention was embracing the past, but shaping the future. And the chair couldn't make it. She got sick in Chicago, right? For the-
Yes.
Or the chair of the Cabarrus County Democrats. But what we had is I made a video of a roller coaster, because back in the 60s, when us older, activists, it was a wild and crazy ride, right? So the roller coaster, you put on the 3D glasses, and then we were hoping to pass a ticket on to the roller coaster to the new chair of our party, but she got that later. So that was, because we're handing the baton to young Dems now, and young Dems are gonna have a crazy ride too, maybe even crazier, because people are, back then, Republicans weren't as insane. They were, they weren't crazy. And there are some today that are still good people that I hope stay in their party and build it back, but a lot of crazy stuff today. And so these young Dems, they have the energy, and hopefully they'll get through it. and
Okay,
take
thank you, Andy.
us.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
You were so. Marianne said, we're gonna vote your house.
All right. Moving right along.
The other Republicans have 10 signs on one lawn.
Yes.
Explain that to me, why you need to have 10 signs on one lawn. I mean, we have 10 signs per Trump.
Hey, I've been by your house and you had 10, but they were different people.
Yeah.
You have a lot of signs.
Yeah, our house is on the way here. Folks, we're gonna get kicked out before 8 o'clock, so we gotta kind of move this along.
This is so nice.
Vanessa Jones? Yeah, so do you have any, quick updates of minutes?
Well, I do have the minutes from last month, and they're kind of lengthy, so I'm just gonna read
The highlights.
Uh-huh.
So I can
Okay.
splice it with yours. Yeah. Thank you.
In the absence of Jay, the meeting was called to order by Joe Bracco at 6:05. There was a moment of silence focused on the 9/11 tragedy, as well as all those who have been ultimate sacrifice of their lives while freedom. Prior to the introduction of the school board candidates forum, Mark gave us an update from the State Board of Elections, stating that there was going to be a delay in getting out those absentee ballots. And he also informed us of early voting polls, when we could go to vote. Then Joe Bracco, our second vice president, introduced the school board candidate forum. We've had Michelle Williams, Rob Carollo, Namu Karu, and incumbent school board member Keith Sandwich. They told us about their platforms and got us all excited about voting for them for school board. There was also Sam Treadwell, who's also a member of the school board right now, who reported to us and told us about a bill that the House was about to pass, and that we ought to be concerned about it because it had to do with giving public money to religious schools. And he thought, we all thought that was one thing. He asked us to get involved. Ingrid Nurse also asked for us to be all hands on deck. President Vincent Veza reported on the Senior Democrats State Convention, and he applauded the efforts of certain of our members, Ingrid, Andy, and Bob, and Dorsey Ward for the outstanding work, which we're all very proud of. And there was support from John Tel Green, but she also told us about her work with the Harris Walsh campaign in Cabarrus County. At the business meeting, I reported that the minutes could be found online, and let's see, suddenly the rest of the report is gone. And Maureen also gave her treasurer's report, and I believe that the meeting ended at about 7:30.
And that brings us up to our Thursday report.
Did you want me to come up there or stand here?
Whatever's convenient for you, and in the minute of the hour that's holding.
You can stand right there.
Want me to stand here?
Sure.
Well, it's very short and sweet. We have $941.41 in our checking account. We have $100 in the cash box. So our total assets are $1,041.40. And all of our bills are paid, so we don't have any outstanding debts. So that's not bad. We've decided to keep the dues at $10. And for anyone who pays dues in October, November, and December, we'll count that for 2025, because it doesn't seem fair to have a new member come in at the end of the year, pay dues for 2024, and then 2 months later say, well, now you need dues for the next year. So when you pay in the last quarter of the month, they go for the next year. But if anyone is able to just give a voluntary contribution of an extra $5 in addition to the dues, it would be appreciated. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ingrid's not here, but from what I understand, I think we're right around 80 members.
Well, for 2024, we have 76 members.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just gave you 2 for tonight, and I think I know who was on it. So we might actually hit that 80 by the end of the year. All right, Joe? Fonto.
What'd you say, Pronto?
I
lost my notes. This is gonna take a while. Okay, yeah. Okay. Head of the program committee with Dorsey on the committee events and Michael Hansen. We meet every other month to plan the programs, and want to thank all who presented tonight. It was an excellent program. For November, I think Dorsey mentioned we're gonna celebrate and hopefully have Martin Erickson in here because everybody has worked so hard this year that I would love to see some, I mean, not in the weeds numbers, but just some numbers to see how we, more people we got out voting, and whatnot. And you know what? I think we should just take credit for it. I don't know where we come from, but if we get a big jump in that, I think we should be celebrating that along with, the Democrats that get elected. So, that's it. So November, I said, and then December will be, no meeting, but we have, tried to reserve that for a holiday program. Last year, we had a resort, we had no option, so we ended up at my house, and I had a great time, but it's not that big, and you just heard the membership numbers. It definitely cannot handle those numbers, so I'd like, at least to have, I'm not gonna let you go till I have 3 ideas, somebody come up with where you would like to have like a get together, a potluck, or get together, or a restaurant and buy something that's inexpensive, that's festive. Because I've only been here 3 years. I don't know the area that well. So does anybody have any ideas? Dolores, I'm gonna call on people I know their names. Sorry. Do you have any ideas of restaurants or anything? No? Vanessa?
I've been here for only about the same time as you. I'm not as for me either.
All right.
I'm sorry. to say.
Maureen, do you have any ideas? Oh, well, Andy, we were talking about the barn. Is that too far, or is that something that's an option?
I'll have to ask, but
That-
yeah,
okay.
it's Riverbend Farm. It's a landmark in Midland. And we just had a big meeting there. It was a week and a half, it went Tuesday to, yeah. I will check with him. The owner is wonderful, he's let us use it. 16 years that I've been doing this, and
Okay.
but his wife has serious dementia, and he really doesn't know from one moment to the next what's going on, but I will ask. But I also had a suggestion, if we
Okay.
can, what about US Virgin Island Wine Company? We've been, right, the US Virgin Island Wine Company on where the old Red Cross building is on Union Street before,
Okay, I'll check with him. Thank you. Thank you
it's
for that.
wonderful, yeah.
Okay, I'll do
And
that.
are they, I've never been in there, are they large enough to have work? They are?
We've been, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah,
And they-
you've been there,
Yeah,
right?
they decorate very nice. Yeah,
Yeah, it's nice.
They have wonderful kickoff meetings for our candidates.
Right.
And Maureen, I cut you off. I'm sorry. Did you have a suggestion?
No, that's okay. My suggestion sounds a little dull now. I just went to the Golden Corral. The only reason I thought of it was because the group in Forsyth County said that they have their monthly meetings at the Golden Corral. They have breakfast meetings.
Oh.
So I just thought, well, let me go ask and see if they have a room. And they do have a room that they would give us that would accommodate up to 75 people. But even if we had 35 or 40, they said that's fine. They would have a luncheon buffet or a breakfast buffet. It would be 10 something a person. So it would be easy, we just go there, have the buffet, have the room, leave. It wouldn't be any extra work for anybody, but I don't know how people feel about the place. I think we ate once there about 20 years ago, and I don't know.
Very nice.
I
I was at one not too long ago. It's very nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there
Well,
more?
that's one possibility.
Is there more than one? Where's that?
You know where the Carolina Mall is?
Yeah.
You just go north a little bit, not too far from there.
Before 85, right? It's
Yeah.
Right.
Right there.
Right.
Okay,
All
okay.
right, well, we'll bounce that around at the next, board meeting in November. And then we'll
Okay.
know what the result came up with.
Okay, that's all
If
I have.
anybody else has any ideas, they can always email to me.
If we do, go to Riverbend Farm, it'll be a potluck everywhere.
Yeah.
Bring
The way we did
somebody.
it last year, that
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah.
Andy, you have anything to add at this point?
Just that our Facebook group page is growing, and I need to have 5 people who want to join this, but I don't know how to hit them up for money yet, because I didn't know whether to give you their names or just, you know, I tell them it's $10 a year. They go, that's reasonable, but I wasn't sure, just collect it. This was knocking on doors in Midland.
We'll give them the post office box information and
Okay.
have them mail it if they don't come to the meeting. Because sometimes when people give money to one person to give to another person to
I
give to
know,
me,
yeah.
by the time it gets to me, the name's misspelled and I have to try to figure out who it's from.
Okay.
You know, it's better to either bring the money to the meeting or mail it to our post office box.
Some of them don't have check. A lot of the younger seniors don't use checks anymore. You know,
Well, tell them
you
to get a money order.
get them on, okay, they have to be, okay.
Okay, moving right on, we have some birthdays for October. So, let's, after we read off the names, we're gonna do the traditional happy birthday song. And if I read your name, please stand up, and if I mess up your name, it's not my fault. Okay, John Clark. Going once, no twice, no John Clark. Okay, Brenda Dixon. Dixon. Bobby Ray Connor. Kathy Mallory. James B. Foster. Nancy Foster.
Nancy was on Zoom.
Tell them we say happy birthday.
We will. She just heard you.
Okay. Sorry if I messed up your name, Nancy. Larry Burchett, Burchett.
Burchett, not you.
Mallie Coleman. Nancy Farragut. Wendy Wood.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Hansen. Michael Wolf. Milton Smith. Okay. 1, 2, 3, all together.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay.
We need Molly here.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It's her birthday.
She's our cheerleader, who's fantastic. A couple of things coming up. We handed out the bylaws, and if you go to the page that says officer and elections, down at the bottom, I'll give everybody a minute to look at that.
Which page is that?
Page
Page 2.
page 2,
Says,
not
it
numbered,
says 6 at
second.
the top, there's
Yeah.
6 officers and elections. Everybody needs to get there. Now, down at the bottom, it says 6.2 terms. Instead of saying officers except treasurer shall be elected to 2 terms at the November meeting, that's going to change to June, to be in compliance with the state. Then it goes on to say in odd numbers and take office at instead of January, it's supposed to be August for meeting of all those odd number years, so that's the change. We'll get this updated and out to everybody. That being the case, we're going to need nominating committees, people to volunteer or throw the name in the hat to the officers. Up front, in front of Maureen, where all the election material is information about those 2 different things. If you want more information on either one of them, email me. And my email is the initial J, DOYAR56@gmail.com, which if you're on our email list, I'm sure you're getting emails from me with everything going on. Just a couple of things that you might want to look at is I was at a informational meeting, and there is a movie out there that you can see for free, either on Prime Video or on YouTube. It's called Bad Faith. It's talking about the rise of the Christian, right? And it talks about how Trump won the last time, and it talks about that, and it's really, really scary stuff.
It actually started before you.
But going back to that, everybody talks about Project 2025, and I did some research because I'm a history nut other than another kind of nut. But one of the things that I found out was the Heritage Foundation started in 1973. In 1980, I think it was 84, Reagan took the budget out of that project that was started in 1973, and he actually used it as part of the budget for the United States in 1980s. A lot of people aren't aware of that, and it's raising its ugly head. A lot of people say, oh, 2025, that's not true, it's fake. What I tell people when I meet them is fact check me, look it up online. It's about 900 pages. I don't expect you to read all 900 pages unless you're really tired and you have insomnia, then it might help you. But look at it, pick out something you're interested in. Like I'll see a family walking, I'll be like, a woman with 2 kids, and I'll be like, and she goes, oh, that's not true. I'm like, look it up online, fact check me, and then read about education for your kid. Or I'll see an elderly person and they'll be like, that's not true. Oh, really? Look it up and see what's going to happen to your health benefits. Or if I see somebody that's minority or a woman, I'll say, look it up, fact check it, and you'll see what's going to happen with your civil rights. And then if you really want to get creative, look it up and check Project 2025 against what Hitler wrote. If that doesn't scare you, go vote for the idiot. And yeah, I got a big mouth. Most of you know it, and I'm not afraid to use it. And on that note, unless anybody else has any questions or anything to add, which yes.
Oh, the woman at the front desk brought this in and said that someone left an eyeglass case around and she wanted to know if it belonged to anyone. Okay.
Okay.
And one more thing to
Sure.
add to what you said about the Heritage Foundation and how they started the religious right. Remember they said that they stood for family values and making the country a wholesome country.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Carter was a good wholesome president and they didn't support him.
No.
So I always ask,
Well, that's the other thing that's interesting, a lot of people don't know, and everybody says, oh, Jimmy Carter was nothing but a peanut farmer. This I also found out, and the Colonel might be able to give me information to confirm this. I found out that during 3 Mile Island, he was there, and he was talking to them, and he said, I think we should do this. And they're like, yeah, you're going to do that, and you're going to leave. And he was like, no, I'm going to stay here. And he stayed while they did that. And people don't realize that he actually worked on a nuclear sub, so he had some idea of what he was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody has anything else they'd like to add, yes, ma'am?
Early voting is starts 17th.
Starts on
17th.
17th. 17th?
Yeah,
17th. I'm losing track of days already. Yep. It's starting on the 17th. It's at the Board of Elections, and there's a couple other sites. If you go to northcarolina.gov, you can look up the sites, and there's also a link there that you should also check if somebody knows you to make sure you're still registered, because they're going in and searching the records. And when you go to vote, you gotta bring an ID, unlike in the past that if you say, oh, I forgot it, I'll let you vote now, unless you've got a photo ID, it ain't gonna work, they'll turn you away.
And
Yes, ma'am?
Well, was it Dorsey? You can go first.
No,
and
you
I'm
go.
sending it back.
You
Okay.
go.
So I have like, I almost forgot to mention, but on the weekend of October 26th, we're doing, a big rally, hopefully at Barber Scotia. That's why I didn't have any handouts, but we're just still confirming the location, but more important than it being a rally, it's gonna be canvassing, and then the next day we're helping drive people to the polls. So if that interests you,
Have you
word
signed
on
up
the
for
wings,
that?
I might get Wes Moore, but we definitely have Ben Jealous, former youngest president of the NAACP coming. And we're really gonna be, I have 2 buses, hopefully, knock on wood again, coming from Maryland, of people invading Cabarrus County. So if you have family in the DC, Maryland, or Virginia area, grab one of my cards, I can get them connected. It's a free bus and free overnight stay because it is a long trip on the weekend of the 26th, as well as during voting.
Okay, so we'll contact you if you want to volunteer.
Well, yeah. I mentioned to Mackenzie that maybe we need a Google phone number where people can call in that need a ride, people that can give rides or the information on it. And she was maybe gonna talk to you about it.
So I track that, so yeah, just please grab my card and reach out to me.
Contact
and,
you,
right. Yeah, and I'll make sure you're on our list if someone interested for rides, and we'll send out the info.
Right. Great, okay.
Dorsey?
Yeah, a couple things. I'm sorry Wendy was not here. She sent an email out to a lot of folks. I don't know if you got it, about the blue ballots at the early voting sites. There are 4 early voting sites this year. We're recruiting folks to go out, hand out the blue ballot. I know you call it what, sample ballot in Maryland, but here it's blue ballot. And I did this a couple of years ago and before that, and it's really relatively easy to do. You don't have to, if you have mobility issues, if you just get yourself to the site, then you can stay there for the 3-hour shifts. And if anybody's interested, I'd be happy, just come and see me after the meeting, give me your email address, and I'll forward Wendy's email to you. And you can sign up for handing out blue ballots right in that email. The other thing I wanted to say about events is, I don't know if you're aware of it, but James Taylor, the singer-songwriter, is coming to Les Myers Park this Saturday. He's going to be supporting the Diamond State and Williams campaign. He'll be speaking there. He won't be performing. It's not Les Myers Park. It's in my precinct, right up the road on Lawndale Avenue. It's a county park, or a city park, I'm sorry. And anyway, he'll be there if you're interested in hearing what he has to say, and we're meeting him 3:30 in the afternoon. And if you'll give me your email address, I can send you the invitation that Terry Warner sent out to his mailing list.
Yeah, and I'm putting that on the Facebook group.
Great.
And
Great.
the 4 places where you can vote, a list of the dates, so.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet baby James, yeah.
Sweet baby James, that's
Yeah.
right.
And the other thing I want to
actually got to
mention,
see him at
Where
St.
we're all
John's
talking a lot.
Divided in New York City.
the other thing I
Years
want,
ago.
the other thing I want to mention that's really important, folks, is in front of you is a thing that says Hurricane Relief Donation Opportunities. Bring it with you. Tell your neighbors about it. As I used to say, I wasn't in the military, but I was civilian medic.
Yeah.
We said it too, all hands on deck. We need everybody. So let's get out there and support these folks. Let's go.
And we do have 10 minutes if you wanna stop and talk to John Tell about phone banking. I mean, they shut the lights out at 8, so we got 10 minutes, so anybody, please, if you wanna get information on how to
Do
get
you want to
started.
come up here?
Well, you can stay with your stuff or wherever and just.
Wherever's good for you.
Yeah, I'll quickly kind of, can I use the computer that's doing the display to show it?
The link,
That's
the
this.
link.
Yeah, we have a link, and I apologize, I have a meeting at 7:30, but I think I was done late. It's okay. It's the all staff, so there's other people.
Okay, the meeting's over. So you don't have to stay past this point unless you want to know about phone bank.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
It's his computer.
Gonna put the link up there?
Yes, I got your email. You want the ballot and
Okay, so people are breaking up and we will go ahead and end this meeting. Angela, thank you. I hope you were able to hear everything. Thanks everyone in Zoom land. Appreciate it.
Just got out.